I always thought about harming myself.
I'm shy. I struggled with making friends.
I never thought I could do anything. I have extremely low self esteem.
Lately, I've been eating my pain away. Just throw it back up. I've been struggling to lose weight.
Somebody said I don't fit in just because I wear my hair the way I like it.
1 out of 5 American girls suffer from mental health problems. Don't be that girl. Talk to someone.
Those thoughts I had are long gone, for I have a future I need to get to.
In order to get better, I had to do better. I learned how to make friends.
I believe in myself. That's when everyone else did, I set an example.
Instead of me eating everything, I started watching my calories. The weight is falling off.
I wanted to change my hair, but I decided it was for me. It's for me.
A PSA from the Curvy Girl Project.
And good morning. Happy New Year. Welcome to Expose Under the Sun, sponsored by the Detroit Native Sun newspaper. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin. And I'm hoping and praying that everybody had a safe New Year. They brought the New Year in right. And I hope that 2024 brings to you the blessings that you ask for, as well as the unforeseen blessings that you have not asked for. So again, our call-in numbers are area code 313-868-0342, 313-868-0351, 313-868-4336. And again, you are watching us live in the phenomenal cities of Detroit, Michigan, under the auspices of the Honorable Mayor Mike Duggan, as well as the phenomenal city of Highland Park, Michigan, under the auspices of the Honorable Mayor Glenda McDonald. And one thing I just wanted to say, too, is that if you are able to go and do something for someone this year, don't hesitate. Because as a lot of you know, there's a lot of people that did not see today, but saw a year ago and were here with us a year ago. So make certain that you let someone know that you are thinking about them, that you care about them, and that you love them. Because today was not destined for everybody to be here. But there's been a lot of things that's been going on, especially when it comes down to sports. And, you know, we talked a little bit about that last week, but a lot has transpired since last week. And the Lions, as we knew last week, they made it into the playoffs. And now we know that the Lions are in the playoffs, but we just don't know quite yet where the positioning is going to be at when it comes to the playoffs. And the other thing is that there was a couple of games that were on yesterday that was bringing a lot of national prominence to the national championship when it comes down to the NCAAs and college football. There were 4 teams that were playing. The first pairing was Michigan playing against the vaunted Alabama, who has won previous championships. And the second game was also a nail-biter, and that was one that was between the vaunted Texas and also was Washington. So again, we have had a lot of sporting events that have occurred within the last week. And that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today with my special guest. Returning again for some commentary as well as some comments is the expertise of Mr. Ken Scott.
Thank you.
As well as the information from the information gathering guru for not just when it comes down to politics, but when it comes to sports as well, and that is Alexis Ramsey.
Good morning.
Okay,
see where I am, right?
I see.
Team.
Well, let's kind of get into this a little bit now. Right now, let's start with the Lions first. Lions had a game this past Saturday, and that game had a lot of controversy when it came down to the ending of the game. There were a lot of people that felt like the Lions were cheated out of a win that day. And there's a lot of people that feel like, hey, the call was made, and it was a call that was made depending on where you live at. Dallas is saying the call was a fair call. Detroiters feel that was not a fair call. Let me just weigh in. Ken Scott, what do you think?
It was a play that will live in Lions history forever. It was a play that if all that was said is true, then the referee shouldn't have made that call. It should have been a Lions victory. I was holding my breath during that whole play, and this two plays that succeeded it. But at the same time, first and foremost, you shouldn't have been in that position. But once you were in that position, and you made the necessary calls, and you made the necessary contact with the referee, at that point in time, the issue should have been done. It shouldn't have been a penalty on the play. The Lions should have won that game.
Okay, Alexis, I see you with your Lions shirt on.
Well, I'm just going to shoot it straight. We
Go
know
ahead.
the game was stolen. Let's just call it what it is, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we know that 2-point conversion should have counted. You waited almost 30 seconds,
Absolutely.
almost to a minute,
Absolutely.
before you even threw a flag in.
It was like you were waiting on a signal.
Yeah. Not only that, you all go over to the side. You have a whole conversation with the referees to say, "Are we gonna do this? What we gonna do?" Right? This is how I feel as a Lions fan. Right? I've been with the Lions since day one. I don't care win, lose, or draw.
Okay.
I'm a Lions fan, hands down. Right?
All right.
Not turning on you. I'm gonna be loyal to you to the end. And how dare this referee decide and say, "Oh, I never even heard of this call." Have you heard of this call?
I've heard of it, but at the same time, this is something that shouldn't have been made at that time.
It shouldn't have been made at all.
It
Right?
shouldn't have been made at that
We
time.
know that the Lions won that game.
Absolutely.
It was stolen, but
Absolutely.
let's look at some facts, right?
Uh-huh.
Had the Lions won that game, what would have happened? Would have moved them to the number 2 seed. Correct?
Absolutely.
Had they moved to the number 2 seed and decided to go ahead and win those 2 home games, 2 away, we number 1, right?
Absolutely.
And what they did not want, they didn't want us to have that number 1 seed. So
Not
they
at all.
stole it, right? And I believe that is rigged, just personally myself. And I feel like, maybe they want Dallas in the Super Bowl at the end of the game.
And that's the thing that I had discussed with Darwin earlier. You're in a Dallas Cowboy Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
You're having a ceremony for Jimmy Johnson. You're having all of the former players of Jimmy Johnson come in that night to celebrate his Hall of Hall of Fame, whatever I forgot what they call it. But at the same time, you're also in a red state. And if you look and peered in the audience, you saw all the cowboy hats and gear and what have you. And
We saw a lot
then
of
I
Lions
saw,
gear as well.
well, no. I'm talking specifically for the Cowboys
Okay.
because what it looked like to me was they can't lose in this stadium. Let's do something to prevent them from winning in this stadium.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's a red state. Just getting to the politics of it, it's a red state. It's all these Cowboys. I'm just telling it like it is. I'm just, you know what I'm saying. All right, and
without saying it.
no, I will say it, but I'm on the air. But that's what I looked at. I looked at the politics of it, and I looked at the hesitancy that you mentioned. It was no doubt that the Lions won that game.
Oh, absolutely. And then you look at the fact that, again, like you say, right? We're in Dallas. You look at what happened all that night. There was just no way.
A red state.
Well, you know, I'm gonna leave the red state piece alone. But where I'm gonna go with this is that because of all of the things that happened that night, the people who were inducted and things like that, it was just no way, right, for the Cowboys to lose. But yet again, I go back to the fact of the seeding, right, and where the Lions would have fell had this win gone through, and
Very
how
much
we
so.
would have been able to bring games back home. Now we all know that it's going to take everything in us, right? Every grit, because that's what we call it, right? The grit.
Yeah.
So every grit in us to win these 4 games away.
Absolutely.
And so unless we win those 4 games away, right? We can't get out of number 3. And so
No.
it's kind of like they put us in a box, you know. But again, we're the Lions. We're grit. We're dirty. This is what we do, right?
Okay.
So I think, you know, at the end of the day, if, and I'll say this, okay, hesitantly, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. If the NFL is not rigged, right? Because we all
Okay.
know about that rigging part of the game
Absolutely.
as well, and how we have to remember that it's called sports entertainment for a reason. Somehow we got away from just football. It's now
And
football
sports
entertainment.
betting is more prominent than ever before,
Oh,
and legal.
Oh yeah, let's not even talk about the sports betting, right? So you
Okay.
already know shaving points and things like that. So again,
Absolutely.
we're not going to get into all of that, but what I do know is that I'm rooting for the Lions. I think that we have a great team. I'm looking forward to us taking off for home away, and you try to take it away from us and walk us going. Well, let's go ahead and walk into Las Vegas and do what we do.
Very much so.
Right.
Well, let me say this. I think the thing is that there's a lot of people that are happy that the Lions are in the playoffs, number one. It's a place that we haven't been in a long while because usually our destiny is usually controlled to be in the playoffs by another team, to lose or another team beating a team for us to make it into the playoffs.
Right.
So the thing is that we've got one more game next week coming up with Minnesota. What's your predictions in terms of, say, for that game?
I'm going. Well, you go ahead, Ken. You go first.
No, you go ahead.
All right. Well,
Ladies first.
Ladies first. Well, I will say, let me think about this. I'm going to call it 24-20. Lions win.
What's your thoughts, Ken?
I'm going to say that the Lions are going to win regardless, and I don't think it's going to be that close. This is one game that the team itself owes to the crowd, owes to the community, owes to the state,
And especially the older Ken
and
Scott.
all of their fans. Okay, why hold back? Okay, we're going all out. We're going to win this game.
So you say Goodell got some cleaning up to do?
And I'm not even talking about that aspect of it, but
Okay.
at the same time, that accentuates the situation. The Lions should win at least by 10 points.
Okay.
They're at home field. That crowd is going to go crazy. The state is going to go crazy. All their fans are going to go crazy. There's no reason for them to hold back. And I believe that they will show every bit of grit, as you call it,
Yes.
that they have to muster that day. I believe that this is going to be their moment
Okay.
that says, listen, regardless of how close that game was in Dallas, watch us now.
They're gonna leave it all on the floor.
They're going to leave it on the field.
Now, let me ask you both, too, now. Okay, now, we know they're going to be in the playoffs. We know potentially where the seeding is going to be at. Like you were saying, the games will probably be away. But now, do you think then...
Not their game, not their first game.
Well, no, not the first one, but I'm talking about any games after that part. But now, do you think that the coach may kind of hold back on letting the starters play and maybe kind of keep them out to keep them healthy or to keep them from getting hurt to make sure that they're ready for the playoffs?
I don't think that's their mindset or his mindset or Brad Holmes' mindset. They're going all out.
Yeah.
This is a home game. This is the finale of the season. No, go all the way out.
Go all in and go home, huh?
Go all the way or go home.
There you go. But my thing is, let me say this real
Or
quick.
go down the
darling.
street.
You know, I personally think that either there needs to be a draw in this game because I'm upset about the seeding. I'm
Okay.
just going to tell you where I am.
Absolutely.
I am just so totally Can't use that word on television. So I'm upset right now about the seating, and I just think that the NFL needs to make this right. I mean, you go back, you actually see the referee nod his head. Now you're going to try to say it's number 70 coming across the field. Oh, that's who you thought. And then if you go back, there's some audio tape as well, right, where you actually hear the referee tell.
That's why they say it's been demoted.
Right? You tell them our play. You tell them what's getting ready to happen. So you got to make this make sense. Now, that's all I can say. Make it make sense that there is audio of you actually announcing what the next play is going to be. You disregard number 68. You put 70 there. And you know 70 was way across the field. Again,
absolutely.
There's no way. 68 didn't come up to you to say, hey, let's go out to dinner after this. Right? He went to say, hey, I'm up, right? We getting ready to do this special play, and there's a strong possibility that I'm getting ready to catch this ball. The referee nodded his head. If the NFL, they need to make it right.
How can they make it right, though? That's the issue that they're in a quagmire with.
Well, I mean, how do you make it right? Just call it a draw. I mean, nobody wins. At the end of the day, just take it. You have to take it away from Dallas. There's no way you could give them that win. I want the Lions to get the win, but guess what? If you give them a draw, nobody wins. They still move up to number 2.
Well, so let me ask this other question. You said about possibly giving them a draw, but the thing is, the Lions could have gave themselves a draw had they went and kicked the extra point instead of going for the 2-point conversion. Correct?
What?
I don't think that's in our
not,
makeup,
and
the coach wouldn't have allowed that.
The coach is known to be a gambler.
Absolutely,
I mean, it was obvious during the game. He took some chances,
and we wouldn't have gotten where we are if he had not been a gambler.
That fake punt, that was a gamble right there.
Yeah.
But at the tail end of the game, there were a lot of people who were asking that question: do you what? Do you go for the extra point, or do you go for the win? And I'm in agreement with you both. If that's what I'm hearing you both say.
Right.
You go for the win. You play the game to win.
Absolutely.
Not to tie.
Absolutely.
So the thing is that there's some people out here that kind of feel like, hey, now that they didn't win the game, they let the refs make their calls, and they didn't get seated where, like you both were saying, they could have been seated at. But could the Lions have won it in overtime? I think so.
Absolutely.
But they took the gamble, and they went on and went for the 2-point conversion, and things happen like that.
I look at it this way. I'm listening to you all about the seating, especially you about the seating. And, I don't think the seating really matters to them. I think they're a better team than every team except San Francisco.
Okay.
And I think they're going to come out on the winning end.
You said including San Francisco, excluding San Francisco.
Excluding San Francisco.
But now you think that they also have the ability to beat Baltimore Ravens?
No. I'm talking about in the
Just
NFC.
in the NFC.
NFC.
Okay.
There's no way in the world I can see at this point in time with all the things that they've done, all the games that they played over the last few months, I can't see them losing to a Philadelphia or a Dallas head to head in the playoffs with the way they're playing presently. Now, Philadelphia has dropped tremendously. They were supposed to be the number 1 seed. Dallas has lost tremendously. They were supposed to be the number 2 seed. I don't see the Lions fall into either one of them in a head-to-head matchup in the playoffs.
Okay. Alexis.
Well, again, just, where I am with all of this is that, we do have the draft coming, right? And so,
yes,
so for me, right, it's important that you're right. So for me, where we landed is very important to me based on what we have coming up in Detroit, April 24th, 25th, and 26th.
Absolutely.
Right. So
absolutely.
For me, so again, I just look forward to the Lions tapping those behinds.
Here
on
at the Full and
field,
Fabulous Curvy Girl Project, we don't just focus on
Absolutely.
self-esteem.
And every
We
game that
also
we have
offer an
moving
amazing
forward
summer
because,
program
again,
for young
we're gonna
ladies
show you
ages
that you
12
don't
to
just take
18.
something
For
from
more
Detroit,
information,
we
visit
come
our
back and we
website
get it,
at
right?
fullandfabulous.org.
That's that grit,
Grit.
right? That's that fight in us. So, again, Team Lions.
Okay.
And-
So before we jump to, because we got about a few minutes left, before we jump to the college game,
Okay.
prediction, Super Bowl, who's going to be in it? Who's going to win? Real quick.
With the way the teams are playing now and the way they are aligned, San Francisco and Baltimore.
Yeah, who's gonna win it?
With that same statement, I'd say Baltimore.
Okay, Alexis.
Well, now you know how I feel about this, right? So you know I'm gonna say Team Lions. That's what I want to say.
Of
but
course.
if I really look at where we are, right, and the challenges that the Lions have in front of them, I will say San Francisco, and because they stole it for Dallas, I'm gonna go ahead and throw Dallas in there because again, I just feel like it's a setup. I feel like they just, this is the American teams, right?
Yeah, but
You
they're
talk
about to get spanked, though.
I know what you're saying, right? But I'm just telling you.
No, we're talking about the Super Bowl, though.
Oh, yeah.
Who's
yeah.
going to be in the Super Bowl?
Oh, it'll be San Francisco.
And
I just said it. I'm thinking it may be Dallas.
it's got to be a
I know,
AFC team.
Yeah, AFC. So it may be the Ravens, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it may
So
be the
who's gonna
Ravens.
win the whole thing?
Ravens.
Probably the Ravens.
So
I'm
you
gonna have
heard
to
that
go- I'm
voice,
gonna have to go
that
with-
voice that said the Ravens.
Yeah, but again, go Lions. I'm looking forward to
Exactly.
going to Las
Absolutely.
Vegas and following my Lions to Las Vegas. So that's where I am, and that's where I'm gonna stick
And
to.
Lamar will be the MVP.
Okay.
Okay.
Now let's go into college football. Okay. I don't know, Alexis, did you see the game yesterday?
Of course.
So what did you think in terms of, say, with the way that Michigan pulled out the victory? What did you think in terms of, say, about what happened when it came down to Washington pulling out the victory?
Now I didn't watch the Washington game. I just watched the Michigan game.
Okay, what do you think about Michigan?
I know. I heard. I missed a good game.
Okay.
But I thought Michigan did what they had to do. Right? They left it all on the field. Right at the end, another nail biter. At first, I said, "Oh Lord, are we getting ready to have another whole little Lions situation here? Is it about to be 19-20?" Right? So that's really what I was thinking. And so then when you saw them right at the end of the field, right, you weren't sure what was getting ready to happen. You weren't sure if they were going to be able to stop them on that, 4th and 2, right, or 4th and goal or whatever it was. We just weren't sure. So I was excited to see our team do what they needed to do, the defensive end. They stopped them, and we pulled out that win. So, again, it's all about Michigan.
Absolutely.
Go blue,
Absolutely.
right? Let the
Oh,
blue
goodness.
wave, okay? Forget this
Absolutely.
red wave, right?
Exactly.
The blue wave is coming, right? We're going to go back to the political side of things. And
In November,
again,
too. But that's another story.
well, we both have to laugh on that one. That's a hope and a wish and a prayer, right?
No, I don't believe so.
You know what I'm saying? Well, we're going to have, let me say this, right? If we're going to
Okay.
talk about this blue wave, we're going to, as Democrats, we're going to have to change some messaging. And let's just call it
Oh,
what
of
it
course
is,
it is.
right?
Of course.
So right now we're a little weak, right? So while Republicans are playing chess, we over here playing checkers. And it's time for
Absolutely.
us to get on that board and do what we need to do. But again,
Very much so.
I was very proud
We
of Michigan.
digress.
Right, digress, right? But I'm very proud of Michigan. I'm proud of what they accomplished yesterday, and it was a heck of a game. And I just look forward to seeing what this championship is going to look like.
Okay, Kim, so we talking about they're playing against Washington.
Okay.
What do you think in terms of, you think that Michigan can beat Washington, or do you think that it'll be the other way around?
Well, let me say it this way. I was praying that Michigan would win because in their past performances, the last 3 performances that they've had, they didn't live up to the hype. Last night they did. Last night they did. It was a pleasure seeing them in their moment. Their defense was much better than their offense was yesterday, and that's what won the game for them.
Yeah, they didn't let the special teams hurt them.
They didn't let the special
No.
teams hurt them, and then at the same time, they were kind of deficient in other areas, but at the same time, they won out.
They did.
Listen, I was
So-
praying they didn't have that kicker, right? I was like, oh, Lord,
You know what?
have mercy.
I think they would have won regardless, but at the same
Nah,
time,
not if they went for that kick. It would
that
have
thought,
been
boy,
over with.
ooh. All right. But you wanted to ask a question?
Well, so now, okay, so I asked you the question. So now you got Michigan placing first. You got the number 2 team in Washington that they're playing. Who wins out?
Let me say this. It's a Big Ten matchup. I said this on
The
Facebook.
future Big Ten matchup.
No, this is a Big Ten matchup. I'm just calling it what it is and everything. It's a Big Ten matchup. Washington is moving to the Western Division of Big Ten. This was just a match made in heaven to me. And for those of you that watched the game last night, I was thoroughly impressed by Pennick, the quarterback of Washington.
Very good.
I mean, 430, 76% completion rate. Michigan's defense is going to have to be what they've always talked about all season long. They're going to have to step up. But at the same time, I'm kind of at a loss as it relates to who's going to win that game.
I could see that in your face. But you don't want to go against Michigan.
No, I'm not going to go against Michigan. That's why I'm not going to say anything.
You do more with silence.
But let me say it this way. This is going to be a game for the ages.
Yeah.
It truly is.
Okay.
I mean, their offense versus Michigan's defense, and hopefully that running game gets going. If that running game from Michigan gets going, then it's going to be a lot better than I thought it would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alexis, you get the last word in.
Well, again, I'm going to stick with what Ken said, right? I'm not against Michigan, right? But it's going to be a heck of a game we have coming up. And, but you know what? I'm a hometown girl. So
Absolutely.
I'm going to just say go Michigan, go blue.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Without a doubt.
I'm going to call it. Just
Without
go,
a
I
doubt.
was going to stick with you, Ken. But you know what? You know me, Darwin.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to go Michigan, but at the same
so.
time, I'm a realist as well. And I know that if you all have seen those two games, those were games for the ages.
Yeah.
Those are going to be recorded for some time and seen for a number of years.
Right. Well, let me say this, because I know we got to wrap up. But the bottom line, I think what really the case may be is that, as you both said, it's going to be a great game. But I think that Michigan is not going to have to play the game. If they play the game they played yesterday, they'll lose.
Absolutely.
I'll put it like that.
Absolutely.
Their game is going to have to step up to where they've been playing games where not just the first half is a runaway, but the second half has got to be played just as good as the first half was played. My special guest today on Expose Under the Sun, beautiful Miss Alexis Ramsey, the phenomenal Mr. Ken Scott.
Okay, thank you.
And you've been watching Expose Under the Sun. And if you'd like to get a copy of the Detroit Native Sun newspaper, or you'd like to advertise in the Detroit Native Sun newspaper, you can contact Ms. Valerie Lockhart, area code 313-457-5944. Everyone have a safe and prosperous and healthy 2024.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Here at the Full and Fabulous Curvy Girl Project, we don't just focus on health, beauty, and self-esteem. We also offer an amazing summer program for young ladies ages 12 to 18. For more information, visit our website at fullandfabulous.org. See you soon.